Hi, everybody. Welcome to Orlando Matters. I'm Ryan Elijah. Got a great show ahead. We're going to dive into some of the issues this morning, starting with the hard-to-ignore, the rare Florida cold this week. It'll look at how FDOT and theme parks and the space industry are getting prepared. And a debate over immigration reform leads to another standoff in Congress. We're going to talk with Congressman Mike Kurtopoulos this week. We also go one-on-one with NASCAR's Joey Logano, how he's getting ready for the rapidly approaching Daytona 500. And self-driving cars, they are coming to more U.S. cities. Why Orlando is now being targeted as one of 7 across the country by Tesla. And plenty of politics ahead. It is hard, though, to ignore that rare Florida freeze we have going on now. From homeowners to theme parks, it has made for a really busy week in terms of preparation for the coldest weather we have seen in years. FDOT has had to prepare a very large state from South Florida to part of North Florida, where freezing is a little more common there. FDOT put 14 spray rigs in service, 7 spreader trucks, about 8,200 gallons of brine, all at the ready. FDOT also uses sensors on roads and bridges to help keep those roads safe. And again, it is worse to the north, the biggest cold challenge, though, FDOT has certainly faced recently. And we know crowds flock to our theme parks regardless of the weather, but park experts say with the dip in temperatures, certain manufacturers, they have different standards in terms of what temperatures prevent those rides from running. Some rides cannot operate in lower than 50 degrees. For others, it is down to 40 degrees. We did speak with a ride expert who says when the temperatures drops, sometimes it causes rides to go a little slower than they should.
Literally back the train up slowly in the station, pull it forward, back it up, pull it forward, and that allows the grease in the wheels to kind of warm up a bit. When it's cold like this, the grease kind of slows it down a little bit, and we can have issues like what we saw with Stardust Racers with the valleying situation.
Yeah, they did have one get stuck because of that. They said the cold weather contributed. I don't know about you, but I love the cold weather days. Best advice, though, they say pack your warm clothes and bring patience if heading to the parks. And, of course, always very common to see our water parks closed for numerous days throughout the winter. Clearly the case this weekend. If you're going to head to outdoor rides like Expedition Everest, Slinky Dog Dash, or Tron, be prepared. There could have possible delays, really depending on the temperatures. At Universal Studios, rides like the Hulk roller coaster, Velocicoaster, and other outdoor attractions could be impacted. Experts say always a good idea to check the company apps to check for delays or possible cancellations. And by the way, another note on the DHS front, Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer this week speaking out about a potential ICE facility here in Central Florida. The mayor is saying he contacted a lawyer after we reported that Homeland Security was looking at a warehouse in Orlando as a possible detention facility. He said the lawyer told him the city really can't stop that facility from an opening because of the Constitution that says federal laws override local and state regulations. There are 2 other facilities in the state. Well, this week we've got new details now on the overdue Perna Memorial at the Pulse site. Officials will be fencing in. The fencing will be installed around the property as early as Monday to kick off construction. Removal of that building set to begin in mid-March. Once that fencing is in place next week, officials say the temporary memorial is no longer going to be accessible, but it's worth noting residents can still leave perishable items like flowers during the construction. A meeting is going to give updates on design plans. That is going to be held Thursday, March 5th at 4 p.m. Well, some good news for Port Canaveral. It is earnings season on Wall Street, and Royal Caribbean reporting earnings this week that underlies just huge demand they're seeing in Brevard County. The cruise line and future cruise demand is as strong as they have ever seen it. They've had a record-breaking wave season, which is January to March. Royal Caribbean adding that they've got a new cruise class, Discovery, coming in 2029. Of course, Port Canaveral home to many Royal ships. We also saw Comcast reporting earnings this week, and they said that they've seen Universal Parks up 22%, led largely by Epic Universe, which they said is doing well, but still not up to 100% capacity as they kind of scale that up. Well, still ahead this morning, we're talking about more self-driving cars. They are headed to Orlando, but there won't be any of those at Daytona. And Joey Logano, he prefers it that way. We're going to talk with the former 500 champ next as that 500 is quickly approaching. Stay with us here on Orlando Matters. Speaking of the busy cruise season, there's a great look out at Port Canaveral and some of the ships calling the port home. It's a great look look at one of our natural beauties for sure, the Atlantic Ocean and, of course, the Volusia County coastline, which is not quite super crowded this weekend because we've got some really brutal weather in terms of hanging out on the beach. And it's not far from there. We're just 2 weeks away from the Daytona 500. This year, William Byron is going to attempt to become the first driver to win 3 consecutive 500s. Joey Logano, of course, going for win number 2 in the Great American Race, wanting to recreate this in 2015 when he took the checkered flag. And I caught up with him this week. Yeah, along with being a great driver, he was a good co-host as well. By the way, 2026 is a year of change for autonomous driving in Orlando. Why Tesla joined Waymo this week in targeting Central Florida. We're going to talk about it. There's a great look at Lake Eola, albeit a cold one this weekend. Downtown Orlando on this chilly weekend. Welcome back to Orlando Matters, looking at the Kia Center. Well, Tesla reported earnings this week, and when they did, they revealed Orlando is among 7 cities where robo-taxis roll out in the first half of this year. The company targeting those cities, they increase the autonomous driving and robo-taxis. A specific date not given, but the rollout's going to happen in the first half of this year, so in the next 5 months. Miami, Tampa also joining Orlando as the 7 cities included. Waymo, by the way, expanding to Orlando already with driverless ride-hailing service expected to launch the public also this year. After extensive testing, they've had employee-only operations and mapping, and now they're ready to roll out there as well. Keep in mind, there's already driverless cars on our roads right now, but that is if the owner is using the option. This will be an adjustment to look over on I-4 and see there's no driver, so get used to that. Right now, let's turn to this story. There have been young children who have been impacted by violent crime, and this is where we saw some local leaders get involved and offer support and assistance. Attorney General James Ethmeyer announcing a $100,000 contribution from Walmart to fund what are called Bexley boxes. These boxes are comfort kits full of essential items for children, including diapers, formula, stuffed animals, clothing. Seminole County Sheriff Dennis Lima was also on hand for the announcement.
Sending a message saying that no other family should have to experience this trauma without some level of support. It's the fundamental concept of the Bexley box that will provide comfort to so many children going through some of the most challenging times in their precious little lives.
Those boxes created by the Bridegan Foundation in honor of young Bexley Bridegan. She witnessed the murder of her father when she was just a child. All right, next up, we're going to talk about some concerts coming up in Orlando, and of course, no shortage of theme park news. Almost time to set sail around the world on a journey at SeaWorld. More on the food festival returning this weekend. They're going to endure the cold there. We'll be back. Welcome back to Orlando Matters, wrapping things up this weekend. Of course, this weekend marks the start of SeaWorld's 7 Seas Food Festival. Guests can enjoy over 200 dishes from around the world. New rotating menus are going to debut, including limited time dishes. It also has a number of headline concerts. Every Saturday, more performances on select Fridays and Sundays. How about Flo Rida, Trace Adkins, Fits in the Tantrums, Boyz II Men, and NSYNC's Chris Patrick's going to host a festival for them. That runs through May 17th. And there's a new fireworks display coming to Disney Adventure. It's based on the beloved 1990s classic, The Lion King Celebration in the Sky. Will be a tribute to the movie. They're going to have the characters, pyrotechnics, dramatic lights, and of course, the original arrangements, Circle of Life, Hakuna Matata, and Can You Feel the Love Tonight. That display is going to begin March 10th. And Dinoland USA includes the dinosaur ride in the restaurant. They're going to permanently close, though, Monday. This is to make way for Tropical Americas. The crew is also working on Encanto-themed ride for Indiana Jones Adventure and a new carousel. And we're officially 1 month away from Legoland's Florida's first ever indoor coaster.
Something's coming. That's big.
It is the Galactic Coaster, not just a ride, but an entire space mission. It launches from Spaceport 885, and of course, that's going to open February 27th. And we finish with a little concert news this morning. Grammy-nominated pop reggae band UB40 is going to take their Unstoppable tour to Central Florida. And the band is going to play at Hard Rock Live in Orlando November 13th. The group is known for its trademark #1 hit, Red Red Wine, and tickets are already on sale. And finally, a new concert just announced for the Kia Center. We saw that earlier. It's a double headliner. Earth, Wind & Fire coming to Orlando along with Lionel Richie. The two are teaming up for the big concert this summer. They will perform at Kia Center on July 25th. Tickets also on sale for that. With that, we are out of time this week. Always enjoy you stopping by. We'll see you next week. And of course, Monday we will kick off the work week together. Still talking about the cold, I'm sure, on Good Day Orlando. I'm Ryan Elijah. We'll see you next week.
The The following presentation is a paid advertisement and does not necessarily reflect the views of this station.